Hello and welcome to race 4 of GTTCC. As you've seen from race 3, we managed a solid second, although I wanted to go for the win, but second we'll have to do. So this means reverse grid for race 4, so we start second from last in the gold and black Audi TT. Again, we had a good start in Monza, so we need to try and replicate that here. So we're just going to try and rev the nuts off it, drop it a little bit, and then go. So get a decent start, not as good as Monza, but halfway decent. We're keeping Steve behind us, who starts last as he won the race. Look up the inside the orange TT there, get a little bit of a bump, and it just holds us up getting onto the power. And Steve's gone round the outside there, has managed to get the drag out of the corner, and how we're back down to last. So I know I've got to try and pass Steve, I don't want to let him get going, but he's going to take the tighter line into this next turn here, get on the brakes. Steve goes very deep, manages to take out the Irishman and some of the other cars, and we're all the way up to 4th. So that's really handy. He happened to clear the way for us. So now we've focused on the guys ahead. So up ahead we've got the fast starting BMW. We know it's fast off the starts, but we know from Monza we had a good straight line speed on him. So going into that fast right-hander there, missing the apex slightly, and we're starting to catch him up now. Focusing into this really tricky left-hand corner because it's downhill on the brakes. The car just wants to understeer, and it tightens up just after the apex. See there, I had to lift a little bit to just save us going too far wide. So the blue BMW going defensive, so we try and go all the way around the outside. This is going to be brave. BMW actually twitches and almost hits us as he tries to correct. So it's lucky we got that far ahead. So now lap 1's not even over and we're up to 3rd. Looking at 1st and 2nd, they get into a bit of a battle there. The TT just stops on the middle. I had nowhere that I could go. I was full on the brakes, and then I get hit the rear end by APA. We managed to get past. I didn't mean to cause an accident there with the other Audi TT. There's nothing I could do. He just stopped dead in the middle of the road. So going up into the final chicane, looking down the inside of APA, we managed to get our nose in there. He tries to cut us across, so we back out of it. And now we're trying to focus on the exit. Hit the limiter a bit too hard there, trying to stay in his slipstream while we've got the Irishman looking up the outside of us now. Into the corner, nice and deep, down to 2nd. APA runs wide, on the power nice and early there. Really good traction out that corner. And we've now got our nose ahead. Now we know that McGann is always going to be fast down a straight line, but we've got the inside for not this long left, but the next right, which is probably the more crucial part. So staying on the inside, brake as late as I dare, down to 2nd for an extra turn in. APA actually gets a nudge from the Irishman, takes him a bit wide, but we managed to complete the pass and get back in front of APA. So now through this long left-hander, getting on the power and then focusing on this quick right-hander. This is quite a feel-good corner because you've got a bit of camber that just helps you turn the car in there. APA going in very aggressive but ends up going quite deep. And we're really starting to catch on this Mustang now. So coming up again to probably one of the hardest corners on the track. Get it in early and then try and get on the power as soon as possible. It looks like the Mustang gets on the power a bit too early. We're going to look to go around the outside. Can we do the same what we did to the BMW? Now we are alongside him, but we had to back out of that one. I knew he was going to sweep across, so we had to back out and make sure we didn't end up in a collision. But we switched to the outside, which now becomes the inside for this tight little chicane. Turns into hairpin. Brake as deep as possible. Do run wide, and the Mustang ends up losing a place out to APA by the looks of it. Up this fast corner, this is literally just a lift and throw it in. Sometimes you can do it flat, but it just depends if you can get the right turning point. I'm just going to fast forward the action now for a little bit. Now a few laps have gone by and we're going to switch it up to a different camera angle here. Now we're looking at the replay angle of the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. So here we can see the Mustangs dropped down to 4th but holding up Steve. Now Steve is our main competitor at the moment in the championship. so we want him to be as far down the order as possible. He manages to go up the inside of the Mustang. The Mustang makes a slight mistake there, and Steve capitalises and he's up to 4th. Now if Steve finishes 4th, that means that in the 4 races we've both had 2 wins, both had a 2nd and both had a 4th, so it would leave us level on points. So ideally we want the guys in 5th and 6th, to make life harder for Steve. As you can see there, the BMW going up the inside of the Mustang there in the fast right-hand corner, coming up to this tricky left-hand, that downhill braking section. Mustang manages to hang on, but it does run a little bit wide there. Yeah, nice catch there by the American, but it does mean that he relinquishes that place to the blue BMW. What we're just going to do now is, again, fast forward the action on to the next moments. Now we're going to catch up the action further in the pack as we see Steve there, looks like he got on the grass there, lost the rear end and slid into the final chicane and lost a lot of time to the blue BMW. Remember, Steve's in 4th, so if he finishes here, we'll end up after 4 rounds we're level on points. So ideally we need this blue BMW to effect a pass on Steve here. It looks like it's definitely a lot closer. What we're doing right now, we're just going and looking at the action further back in the pack, just as my race, I'm up at the front and there's not much to see right now. So BMW chasing down this Audi TT. Now this BMW's got good turning, so coming down into this tricky right hand corner which kind of dips down but does have a bit of camber to help you slingshot it round, and the BMW is looking quite aggressive. The Audi looks like it's trying to hold the middle of the racetrack, as the BMW looks like it's trying to use all of that racetrack. Up into this fast little right-hander with a nice bit of camber on the inside, and the BMW again looking pretty racy, just missing the apex just by a metre or 2 there, but still on the rear end of that TT and crucially in the slipstream. Coming up into the downhill dip of a left-hand turn. They're both looking pretty close, but Steve runs a bit wide there. He's off on the grass, and yes, the BMW's through, so the BMW's up to 4th. Now that's great for the championship. It means that's going to put a few points between me and Steve going into the next few rounds. So now we're going to join the action back on board with my car. This is going on to lap 8, which is going to be my fastest lap, so we're just going to talk you through the fastest lap again. Coming up into the final chicane, this is really about getting down to 2nd gear and trying to stay tight and trying to get a good exit as possible out of this final corner. So hard on the power out in 2nd, up through the gears. We're going to stay to the left and try and bank as late as possible between the cones and the start of the curb, down to 2nd, get the nose in and get on the power nice and early. As you can see there, as soon as I was at the apex, I was also on the power. Up this corner, this is quite a crucial corner. You need a good exit from there because it's all uphill, so anything time that you lose at the first corner is just going to compromise you all the way down to here. Staying to the left here, we're going to go in and brake just between the cones and the next set of cones, down to 2nd, find 2nd help to get the front end turned in. We can get on the power, bang the rev limiter, up to 3rd, up to 4th. So this long left here, we're going to have a little bit of a lift in the middle, and that just applies the transfer of weight to the front to give us a bit more grip, and then we're back on the power. Powering all the way out, up to one of my favourite corners here, just down 2 gears, turn it in, once we get at the apex, back on the power. Run wide, over the curbs a little bit, sometimes that can annoy the engine, but not too much. So this one, as soon as we see the brow of that hill, on the brakes, down 2 gears, turn it in, and then once we're confident we can reach the exit without going too wide, we're on the power. Now this long right hand corner, I try and stay in the middle, stay in 4th, a little bit of a confidence lift, but what you'll notice is if you do lift, the car will start to drop down that banking, so you want to be careful you don't do that too much. On the power hard. Now down here we want to brake just at the apex here, brake down to 2nd gear, try and keep it nice and close to the inside there, just so we can open up the corner here and then get back across to the right here, so we can go through this corner as quick as possible. A little lift and then back on the power. As I said before, you can sometimes do it flat out, but sometimes it's better to just take that lift and take that couple of percent margin so you don't make a mistake. Down into this tricky downhill braking, you need to be hard on the brakes. The car just wants to keep on going because we are going down the hill. Stay in second, up through the gears now, try and aim for that wall but just not quite hit it. And across the line, that's a 58.1, so that was our fastest lap of the race. We're just going to speed up the action until we find something else to talk about. Okay, and so we're going to rejoin the action back down in the fight for 4th and 5th. As you can see, the BMW did make some strides to move away, but now Steve has managed to catch him back up. Remember, if Steve can get a 4th place here, that means we'll go into round 5 joint on points. So coming out the first corner, you can see Steve's trying to stay in the slipstream of this BMW. Let's see where he can get past it, trying to apply some pressure and see if he can force a mistake. He's looking down the outside, which turns into the inside of the next fast right-hand corner. He's down hard on the brakes. He's looking at the BMW, gives him enough room. He is down on the inside. The BMW loses that place out, but Steve does run a bit wide, and the BMW switches back. It's now alongside again, but on the outside of this long right-hand corner. The BMW's got great grip. Look at that, I just drove right round the outside of Steve there. The BMW's back up to 4th. So that's where we want the BMW to stay. And let's see if Steve can rally up the troops again and see if we can effect a new pass on this BMW. So you can see here, what he's trying to do is trying to either push the BMW into a mistake, try and put the BMW somewhere where he doesn't want to be, or at least be close enough that if the BMW does make a mistake, he can take advantage of it. Going into the long cambered right-hand turn, you can see the TT catching up a little bit. He's going to have a good slipstream down here. He's right underneath the BMW, and this is into a hard braking point here. BMW taking the tighter line, Audi taking the wider line here. BMW just about gets it stopped before the blue line. Audi's now on the inside, but the BMW has the inside for the next corner, but it's going to be a tight angle from there, and you have to step on the brakes just so you can make sure you can take that corner, and Steve manages to get past the BMW. It looks like that's what Steve's goal was for this race. He's managed to get back up to 4th and go into round 5 with all the same points. So we're now going to speed on the race until near the end. And you join us on the final lap. We can see there's a gap to the Irishman of what 12 and a bit seconds. Last few laps have just been about trying to punch out some consistent laps. We had a bit of a boo-boo on lap 13, went off into the bushes, but we managed to recover from it. Trying to keep our head down, coming across the final corner, taking the checker flag, flash of the lights, and we'll come home first. So we've managed to take first from the Irish, Marco, APA in 3rd, and Steve managed to get himself up into 4th. So all round a good result. I'm glad to be back on the winning podium. Yeah, I couldn't do anything more. That leaves me and Steve on equal points, as we've mentioned before. Going into race 5, which will be this Friday. Again, there will be a video for that out Monday night. So if you enjoyed this race, if you enjoyed the commentary, you enjoyed the content that you see here, why not subscribe? If you want to, like it. If you don't want to like it, dislike it, that's fine with me. But enjoy the rest of your night and have a good one.